Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. Today we're going to talk about money. Yay! And boy, I'm telling you, it is an emotional issue for a great many people, right? So as opposed to being, a cut and dried thing that you don't think about, right? So, like you don't think about your cell phone a lot, right? It's like it's a tool. You use it when you need it. You don't use it when you don't need it. Is what it is. No big deal. But money, most of us don't have that same detachment and perspective and understanding of money as a tool, right? And so it's like, okay, do I save it? Do I spend it? Do I invest it? If I do, where do I invest it? How do I make a good investment? How much am I going to need? The questions are endless. And we needed some kind of a perspective to make our peace with money. And as with everything, the way to do it is to be more accepting of what's true. And what's true is that money is a tool. And it's a tool from a number of perspectives. It's a tool to be used in supporting ourselves and living the life we want to lead. But it's also a tool in showing us, to some extent, uh, how much we value ourselves, right? So if we value ourselves tremendously, then it's easy to say, well, I'm worth earning this amount of money, and that's what I'm going to do. And if that thought exists without a competing thought, then that's what gets created in our lives. And so for a lot of us, uh, it's a bit of a sticky situation in the following respect is that uh, our potential is unlimited, and so oftentimes when we're comparing how we're doing against our potential, we tend to generate thoughts like I'm coming up short, right? And so maybe that's not the best way to look at money as a measurement of achieving our potential. Probably it's better to just look at it as a tool. And if there's money problems, then there's conflict about what's the best way and the most responsible way to use our money. And so the first part, as I said earlier, is you want to lead the life you want to lead, right? So if don't put off living your life, till you're retired or till you have this or till you have that. It's like live your life now and experience all the love and joy and um, upliftment that you can today. And whatever money is used in that process is a good and proper use of money. And um, when there's conflict about money, just accept that there's conflict, the same as every other thing, right? It's like, well, I really want to do this and it'll really bring me joy, but I don't want to spend the money because who knows what's going to happen and I might need it later, right? So, when you've got those kinds of competing thoughts, then you just put them on the table, right? It's like, okay, am I going, for me, it was like before I met my wife, I spent very, very little money because uh, my tennis club membership was about the only thing that brought me a lot of joy, and so that's what I spent it on that, and it wasn't all that much money, and so that was fine, right? But then when I met my wife, it was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna, you haven't been to Yosemite, you got to go to Yosemite, and we went to Yosemite. We stayed at the Ahwahnee Lodge. We rented the presidential suite. It was nice. It's like, oh, you haven't been to Hawaii? Oh, we got to go to Hawaii. And we went and we went to the luau's and the horseback riding and the helicopter flights and the whole banana, right? So I went from not spending money because there was, I didn't see a way that it would bring me joy to spending all kinds of money because I did see a way that it would bring me joy. And I don't regret spending money, on things that my wife and I do together that bring us joy because it's like that's what money's for, right? So I don't hesitate to spend money on that. But on other things that I want to make sure I get my money's worth, right? And I want to an investment. I have a couple piles, right? So one is, conservative, don't worry about it. It's there. It's not earning much of a return, but it's really safe. And then I have another pile that's, risk capital. I can afford to lose this and I'm going to go for big returns. And so I have like two buckets, right, that I have my money in and such. And then that, kind of gives me the allocation that I'm most comfortable with. And so that's how I do it. But in general, conflict around money is the same as conflict around anything else. They're competing thoughts. Identify the thoughts and make a decision about is spending the money going to enrich and enhance my life on this or not really? And let that be the question to ask and answer and guide you. And that's my best advice in dealing with money. And but don't be one of those people that puts off living your life until you're retired, and then you retire and you don't have the health and the joy, you don't have the abilities to lead the life you want to lead, and you just kind of cheated yourself out of it. You're only going to have a shot at today one time, right? So make the most of it. Experience as much joy and love and compassion and upliftment and care and concern that you can, and know that if you do that, you're optimally using your money. So that's kind of where that is. I offer thought coaching because if you're in conflict around anything, it's because you have competing thoughts. And the way to resolve that is to identify those thoughts and realize you have a choice of which thought you're going to act on. And once you get that far, usually it's pretty clear what thought you want to act on, what thought brings you the most peace, the most joy, the most happiness, the most profound sense of well-being. And do the thoughts that have those emotions tied to them, and don't do the thoughts that don't. And anyway, if you want a free coaching session, you can contact me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com and try it out, see if it's for you. I imagine it will be. I mean, it's, because when we resolve conflict, we open ourselves up to experience more of the unlimited energy that we are. So it's really valuable to resolve internal conflicts, and they're generated by competing thoughts. So do that. The books that I have are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. Today, I would say, what book do I want to feature that sort of most fits in with this? And I would say that being one, right? So when we're being one with all things, that's when we don't have any inhibitions, and that we're at peace, and that we're clear to express our most uplifting inspirations. And in that state, there's total peace. So there is no stress about money. And so I'd recommend buying the book Being One if you're really stressed about money, because it gives you a place to go where there's no stress. All right. Be well.